the best thing I've tasted in Armenia for sure. Welcome to Chopstick Travel. I'm Luke Martin, and this is episode 2 of our series here in Armenia. This morning, we have come to have a traditional Armenian barbecue cooked in a tonir or tandoor oven. After that, we're going to be heading to check out 2 of the most famous monasteries here in Armenia, one of the most popular things you must see when visiting Armenia. And then later, we're going to be heading to the second largest city in the north of Armenia called Gyumri. We're going to be having dinner there, and then later this evening, we're going to be cooking a traditional Armenian dessert. It's going to be a great episode. I hope you'll stay tuned until the end. So let's go cook ourselves an Armenian barbecue. So we're here at Yeginyan's Gastro Yard. It's kind of like a home and a restaurant, and we're making traditional Armenian barbecue called Khorovats. And it's a marinated pork, so some paprika and salt, and then we've skewered it up, but we've also got some potatoes and some onions on there as well, a little bit of sunflower oil, and these are huge chunks of pork. And this is going to be actually put into the tandoor oven, or tonir, they call it here. This just smells and looks really good. So we're just waiting for the tonir to heat up. They also make their own wine here, and check this out. This is the cellar. So we're taking a peek in the wine cellar, and we've come at a time where they're actually fermenting the white wine. And just check this out. Listen. You can hear it bubbling away, like really bubbling away, fermenting. So this is white wine, but luckily he's got some red wine that's already ready, because this is definitely not ready. And wow, the smell of that is super strong. So they've got a huge barrel of the red wine grapes, and he's asked me to stir it. Apparently like 2 to 3 times a day you should be stirring this, and this just looks beautiful. The color of that is incredible. So he's got some wine that's still in the process of being completed, but luckily there is a huge barrel full of a red that he just poured us straight from the barrel. And I don't think I've ever visited a country more in love with wine. I mean, it's part of the culture. It's ingrained in the culture. It's ingrained in the religion. So it's an extremely important part of Armenia. So let's just try this red. And it's delicious here too. Yum. Whew, that's good. Straight from the barrel. All right, I think it's time to cook the barbecue. So the Khorovats is in the tonir. He kind of hangs them so they're suspended, hanging in the oven. It's only about 30 minutes to cook them, and he uses a cloth to really seal that off, and then puts the top on it. It's super smoky wood fire. It smells amazing already. Good night. So the Khorovats has finished cooking. That was, it's a really simple preparation, but really unique how he kind of hangs it in the tonir like that. And we've got our platter of all of the stuff that was skewered. So big, huge chunks of pork. And then back here, we've got some onions and then the potatoes as well. This just all smells super, super good. Let me grab this piece right here. put it on my plate, and you can just see it's just glistening with the natural fat from that pork. Super smoky. Oh yeah, let's try this. Super smoky. Just like hints of paprika. It's not like super flavorful, it's just that natural flavor from the smoke and the oil from the fat. We've got a big piece of the skin and the fat there. Let's try that as well. Oh, that is really, really good. Oh yeah. That is full of flavor, the fat. Oh man, that's yummy. So it's not just about the meat. We've also got some veggies here. Grab one of these onions, also cooked the exact same way, and that piece of fat is just so good. This is gonna be great with some of these smoked onions. That is phenomenal. That's the best thing I've tasted in Armenia for sure. So, so good. Even just simple spices, but with the smokiness of that tonir and then the fattiness from that pork. Oh, it's so good. And with the onion, juicy, a little bit sweet. Yeah. And let's try it with a potato. And the way that he skewered it, the potatoes were kind of like underneath pieces of the meat, so the fat kind of drips down because it's hung vertical, so it kind of absorbs into the potato. Let's try it. Yum. It's just spiced up the same way, the potato, as the meat. A little bit of paprika, a little bit of salt, but man, the smokiness of that meat is just incredible. So you can see the pork chop has this inside meat, but what's really good is this fat layer on the outside, and then with this onion, this is so good. Like I said, this is my favorite thing I've tried here in Armenia for sure. So they say here in Armenia, if the barbecue's good, you just go in with your fingers, because that's making love with the meat. And the pieces around the bone where the fat is, it's the best. You gotta get every last piece. That was an incredible barbecue, and we've got dessert here. This is halva. And there's so many influences in the culture and cuisine here in Armenia. One of the borders is with modern day Iran, so this likely has its roots in ancient Persia. So halva, it's like a semolina dough, and then it looks like we've got walnut on top here. Oh, that was a good one. It's really light, sweet, and you get a nice crunch from the walnut. It's a perfect way to end the meal. That's awesome. What a meal. That was an incredible barbecue, super authentic. Only here in Armenia can you see it cooked in the tonir like that, hanging vertical, really juicy and delicious. So now we're going to do a little bit of sightseeing. There are plenty and plenty of famous monasteries you must visit in Armenia. So we're going to go visit two of the most popular next. We'll be visiting two monasteries today, and the first one we are at now is called Khorovats. It's in the Ararat Valley, so you can see Ararat Mountain off in the distance. Not as great a view today, a little bit cloudy compared to yesterday, but still just an incredibly beautiful monastery. The Ararat Valley is kind of like the cradle of Armenian civilization, and it's also extremely fertile land. You can see the grape production, all kinds of fruit and vegetable production happening in the valley, and you can actually see just only 1 kilometer or so the Turkish-Armenian border. So there's like a neutral zone that is protected by the UN and Russia peacekeeping, and you can actually see Turkish villages on the other side. You can see the mosque minaret, and then over here we have the beautiful Armenian monastery. So we're just taking in all the views, learning about the history. This place is just really peaceful and beautiful. So we're just hiking up this hill here to get a better view of the Khorovats Monastery down there. Incredible. And then you've got the fertile Ararat Valley, and then the Armenian flag up here. What do you think?
It's so amazing. The landscape, the monastery, they really preserve it really well, and like it's like you travel through time to see this. This is so beautiful. I like it.
There are countless monasteries to visit in Armenia. It's like the thing to do. You got to go visit all the beautiful monasteries. They're all set on these incredible landscapes. So we're finished off at Khorovats. We're going to head to the next one. So we have now arrived to Noravank Monastery. This is arguably the most beautiful monastery in Armenia. It is definitely unique. The setting is incredible. We're in this massive canyon with these limestone cliffs. They're like red limestone. And one of the things that makes this monastery unique is that one of the churches, or all of the churches actually, are made of the limestone. So you get this really incredible kind of sandy color to it. It's so picturesque with the background. There's tons of history. I'm not going to get into all of it, but one thing that I thought was kind of interesting is that when the pilgrims would come here back hundreds, thousands of years ago, they would actually just like leave little stamps here to show like this would be 2 people, and then you can see over on this one right here, this would have been like the whole family. There would have been 4 adults and then 2 children as well, and then some of them are more detailed. Those ones would have been more wealthy families leaving their mark. They would have hired somebody to actually leave their mark. And wow, just an incredible view over this canyon. So much to see here in Armenia. It's really, really just stunning. This was the first depiction in Armenia of Father God. So there's actually an iconography of Father God, Jesus Christ, his son underneath him, and he's got his fingers like this. It's the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit, and then the unity between, how do I say, spirituality and human kind of touching each other. Yeah, I'm not like much of a historian, but I'm trying my best to understand it all. There's so much history here, so much to understand about the religion, the faith, everything. All right, we're done with the monasteries. We're heading for dinner next. So we have arrived to the northern city of Gyumri. The sun has set, it's dark already, and we've come straight to dinner. And tonight we've come to a fish restaurant. So I'm really interested to see what kind of fish we're going to be having, because we're here in the mountainous area of landlocked Armenia. So let's go check out what's for dinner tonight. This restaurant is super cool. They've got some ponds where they're actually keeping a couple different types of fish, freshwater fish. They've got sturgeon, but they've also got trout. Trout is very famous here in Armenia, particularly the trout from Lake Savan. This is actually farmed trout at this restaurant here. We ordered up trout. You can get sturgeon as well, and they're just gonna take it in the kitchen and cook it up next. after the trout is cleaned, it is seasoned, and then it is hung vertically in the same way we saw the barbecue earlier today within the tonnier. So it's kind of smoked and cooked and grilled all at the same time, and they're cooking multiple fish all at the same time. This is such a beautiful restaurant too. We're just taking a look at all the fish. Like I said earlier, you can get sturgeon, you can get trout. We ordered trout. It's very famous here in Armenia, 2 freshwater fish. So we're waiting for our trout to finish cooking, and then we're gonna dig in. So we're sitting down now at the restaurant, and before our grilled and smoked trout comes out, they brought us some of their other trout products. They've got a salted trout, smoked trout, and then this one is cured, marinated cured, but then this is what I'm really looking at in the middle here, the beautiful, beautiful trout roe or caviar. So I'm gonna grab a little bit of butter. That's a little bit too much. Grab a little bit of butter and then put on some of this bread, which they bake in-house, of course, and then go for a nice dollop of the trout caviar. Look at how beautiful that is, that color. They like individually pop, burst in your mouth. Salty, and then with the butter, which is nice creamy, you can definitely taste like the seafood flavor, but wow, it's really just like clean, a little bit salty flavor. Yum. That caviar is amazing, but there's a lot of good looking stuff on this plate, so I'm gonna go for another little spread of butter, and this time try a piece of this salted trout, and also go for a squeeze of lemon. Oh, that looks beautiful. Look at the color of that meat. That's amazing. It looks like a cold smoked trout, but it's not smoked. This one's just salt cured, and it's not salmon either. It looks like it might be salmon, but just really natural flavor of the trout. It goes perfectly with a little bit of butter and bread. And a squeeze of lemon, that's awesome. So this cream here is actually made with the trout roe, the trout caviar, and then this is like toasted lavash bread. Let's try this. Oh, that's awesome too. It kind of reminds me of like cream cheese with a little bit of seafood flavor in there. Yum, that's amazing. The pièce de résistance, the smoked grilled trout, famous here in Armenia, and that looks so beautiful. It was cooked in that tonnier, similar to our barbecue this morning, but now we've got trout. Even though we're on landlocked Armenia, you can still enjoy some fresh seafood. Let's try this. Really good, super smoky, but really the texture of that trout is incredible. I keep wanting to call it salmon because it's pink. It looks like salmon, but this is not salmon, it's trout. The texture is just incredible. Melts in your mouth, not a single bone in there. Beautifully seasoned, smoky, really smoky. And then with a squeeze of lemon, it's just so fresh. Oh, wow. You can really have it all here in Armenia. So if the atmosphere couldn't get any better, we've just got a live piano performance going on here, playing some traditional Armenian piano, and the restaurant was really generous enough to bring us out also their other famous dish, the sturgeon. So I've got a piece of the sturgeon here. You can see white fish this time. Also very good. Oh, that's actually really good. What a delicious meal, and what an experience too, to see them take the live fish out of the pond like that and then cook it up fresh. Really, really delicious. So next we're heading to get a little lesson in how to make a traditional Armenian dessert, very unique dessert, and it's not just anybody who's going to be giving us the lesson. It's going to be a master chef, one of the top chefs in all of Armenia. Let's go. So for our dessert tonight, we just got the really amazing opportunity to watch the head of the Culinary Academy of Armenia. His name is Sedrak Mamulyan. He's an amazing chef, very popular here in Armenia. He showed us how to make the traditional Armenian dessert called ghapama. It's a very unique dish that I've never seen anywhere else. So basically, he takes some walnuts, some dried fruits, so apricots, and dried black plums, chops them all up, and then kind of sautés them in butter, mixes it with honey, and then at the end he adds rice into all of that, and then fills it inside of a hollowed out pumpkin. So this is a very kind of festive dish here in Armenia. It's then baked in the oven for about an hour. Luckily for us, we don't have to wait for an hour. They've got another one for us to try, but this is something I've really never seen before, ghapama, and made by such a popular chef. It's really going to be a special treat to try tonight, so let's try it out. So here it is, the final product, the ghapama. This is very traditional Armenian dessert. You can see the piece of the pumpkin right here. It almost looks like a piece of cake presented like this, and all the dried fruits in there. There's nuts, the honey, and this is something I've been really looking forward to trying. So let's just go right in there, give it a try. So unique, cooked inside a pumpkin. It's served cold. It's definitely chilled. It's not super sweet whatsoever. The rice is just like cooked like al dente, I guess. It's still got a little bit of a crunch. Let me try some of the pumpkin with it. And I got a little bit of fruit in there. It's really kind of like got a crunch. It's a unique texture. And I don't know if I can taste the pumpkin yet. Now I can. Creamy pumpkin. It's pretty simple, actually. I feel like I could probably do it at home. That might be overconfident, but it's definitely unique. Never seen anything quite like it.
I feel like this is a perfect sweet low that I like. Yum.
Yeah, like Mick was saying, it's definitely not too sweet, and served cold like this, it might taste a little bit less sweet. I feel like if it was served hot, you could feel the honey a little bit more. It's a heavy dessert though. I mean, with the rice, I'm used to eating rice as a main course, not the dessert, but still really good. All right, guys, that's it for today's episode from Armenia. Another incredible day here. The culture, the history, and of course the food here is just incredible. There's so much to discover. It feels like a real hidden gem here. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. If you did, subscribe, hit the bell icon so you're notified when I post the next one, and I'll see you guys on the next episode of Chopstick Travel. Bye.